Hello and welcome to Georgia Bulldogs Live here on the Georgia Voice of College Football, presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Matt Green. My co-host over there, Bo Underwood. Bo, how you feeling tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. Yeah, I can't complain at all. How are you?
Good, man. Good. This is the lulls of the off season now in February. That we're post Super Bowl. We're a long way from the college football season, but there's always things happening affecting the college football world. And I appreciate everyone who's tuning in, watching us live and everything. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. But Bo, I guess we should get right into it. As you see the title of the show, new faces on the Georgia coaching staff. A lot of different things happening after Uzo Deribe left Georgia to chose to go to the Dallas Cowboys. Georgia has now filled that outside linebacker coach spot with Larry Knight from technically West Virginia, but he had taken the West Virginia job this offseason and decided against it. Never actually started, I guess.
Yeah.
So from Arkansas State and pass rush specialist. So I think that's what every Georgia fan wanted to hear when you heard about this new hire.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking at that they're really pushing that label of pass rush specialist, I guess is what you hear. Kind of sucks for West Virginia, man. They had him in their building for probably a month, maybe less than that. But yeah, I like this move a lot. Just from what it seems to represent for Georgia, which is that they're going into this season with much more of a plan and much more of a just much more intentional about having a good pass rush this year. I think that last offseason, the Damon Wilson transfer kind of took them by surprise and they weren't prepared for it. And you kind of saw that with the lawsuit. I think the lawsuit kind of shows that. And obviously, it ended up really affecting the play of the defense negatively throughout the year. So, with them getting Amaris Williams out of the portal and then making this hire, somebody who has a background in pass rush, like I think Larry Knight was at Arkansas State last year, and like I saw some of their pass rush numbers last or from earlier today, and they looked really good. It was like they had like their sack percentage was like almost 10%, something like that, like top 10 in the country. So
I believe
clearly
they were
there's
sixth in sacks total, or sixth or ninth.
yeah.
They were up there, top 10.
Yeah, so clearly I think this represents a concerted effort from Georgia to beef up the pass rush, which we've seen. I mean, last year they kind of publicly stated they were gonna try to really get the run game going again, and they kind of went out there and did that. So I trust their staff's ability to like really hone in on a point of emphasis and try to improve it. It's a lot to do that in one off season, but this seems like a good step towards that.
For sure. And we will admit to our listeners, we appreciate you watching every week. But we will be accountable here. And this is not a former Georgia Bulldog. That is the next outside linebacker coach at Georgia. He is a former Central Michigan Chippewa. So, whatever that means as far as that coaching tree goes. But no, I think he was a Jeff Collins guy. I believe he's on Temple's staff and then Georgia
Yeah,
Tech for a couple years. So yeah, Arkansas State, I believe, went from like 100 and somewhere in the hundreds to top 10 in the country in sacks. Led the Sun Belt a year ago. So yeah, that's massive. I think the same thing happened with Trey Scott. I want to say when he was hired, he had taken the Ole Miss D-line coach job, and then before he ever started, Georgia poached him. So solid track record as far as that goes. But yeah, Georgia
yeah.
needs some help on that in that pass rush for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they can. I don't think anyone's expecting it to be elite or the class of the SEC next year, but it does need to be better than it was in 2025 for sure.
And you shouted out the Auburn transfer, William. What's the first name again?
Amaris.
Amaris Williams.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a guy that could be a huge recipient of this new philosophy for Georgia as far as rushing the passer goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they've got more of a plan in place. It looks like they kind of just went into last season with what they had, and got the late addition of Mendoza out of the portal. But I think the timing of that move we've talked about before kind of set it up to fail. This year, they look like they're in a much better position to improve.
I think that's fair. And I will say I'm not the first person to make this point, but I'll echo someone else in the Georgia sphere. You heard all of last season. It was Georgia's going to get better at running the football, and Georgia's going to get better at stopping the run. Like that was the huge problem in 2024, and that was the huge focus: running the ball better and stopping the run better. And Georgia took massive strides there. So if the number one focus of this team in the offseason is getting after the quarterback better, I feel confident that they're going to get better after the quarterback better in 2026.
Yeah, they clearly have. I mean, have this ability to hone in on something and really put a lot of resources towards improving it. So I think it would be reasonable to expect them to turn around if they really are serious about it.
Maybe I'm giving Kirby Smart too much credit. Maybe the game's passed him by. Maybe he's washed. Maybe Georgia's never going to win another title. But I still think this coaching staff is probably the best coaching staff in college football. I think they'll find a way to get those improvements. But speaking of the new faces on the coaching staff, where do you want to start here? Let's start with a guy that was apparently unofficially part of Georgia's coaching staff a year ago, but now it is official. Maurice Smith,
Yes.
Who is going to be, what is it, a defensive analyst, I believe. Yeah. I can get my my graphic up there on the screen. But first thoughts of the Maurice Smith edition.
Well, I mean, I know he's been bouncing around like the NFL for a few years, and I think he was playing in the XFL at one point. So I don't know a ton about how his actual coaching career has gone, but I mean, I remember him playing at Georgia. Of course, your first thing you think of is probably the pick six he had against Auburn, and he was always a good player at Georgia and seemed like a pretty savvy veteran kind of player. So yeah, you always just as a Georgia supporter and someone who follows his team, you always kind of like when there's a former player coming back to coach. And who knows, maybe this is the start of Maurice Smith becoming a fast riser in the coaching world.
Yeah, who knows, man? That's definitely his trademark moment as a Georgia Bulldog, is that pick six in the 2016 Auburn game. But honestly, just his transfer from Alabama in general was kind of a milestone moment in the SEC, of just transferring in the conference. Like, I don't know, Saban tried to stop the transfer, but then it ended up, I don't really know why. I don't know the ultimate rationale why it was stopped, but or why it was allowed, I should say. But yeah, that was pretty huge in his time as a player. But yeah, it's just, more and more guys are able to actually, be on staff. Like these analysts and everything are actually, able to be on-field coaches. Like, you're like not limited at that anymore. So yeah, sure. A guy who played under Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, I'm sure this guy's got a lot of things he can teach the next generation.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point about the analyst rules being relaxed. You might as well get as many of those guys in there as you can. I mean, seems like they can only help you unless you just get somebody that's like awful to work with.
Yeah, someone's just like a cancer to your sideline or something. Yeah, sure. But most likely just more good minds over there on the sideline, the better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anything else you wanna say about Maurice Smith?
Shout out to him, man. Welcome back. Damn good dog.
Yeah, I wasn't sure to call him Mo Smith or Maurice Smith.
Yeah,
I see both. I don't know. I don't know him that well, so I don't know if I can use his nickname. I don't know. We're not on that first name basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the other support staff addition, but that's the former Georgia player Robert Edwards. Now, I wouldn't classify myself as an old head. But on this specific show, maybe. I know Robert Edwards is a little bit before your time. What do you remember about Robert Edwards?
I mean, he played at Georgia before I was born, but I am aware he was a very good player. I think he was a first round pick. He wore number 47, didn't he? Because
You did.
that's the thing that always sticks out to me when I watch old clips of old Georgia games and I see the running back wearing 47. I'm like, whoa, that would never happen now. Everyone else, within the social media era, everybody's got to be wearing a flashy single digit number. But yeah, I mean, this is another guy who he's been coaching for a while. It looks like I looked at it. He's been a high school head coach for many years at Greene County, Riverwood, in Atlanta, Washington County. So this is a guy who not only has an SEC playing pedigree and ties to the university from those days, but he has a very credible, legitimate career as a high school head coach. So you got to think a guy like that can only be a solid addition to the room. Just like you said, just another mind there, another teacher for this team.
Also, something I don't think a lot of people know is Robert Edwards started as a defensive back at Georgia and had 4 interceptions in 1994. So had 4 picks in 94, and then 95 through 97 he was playing running back. And yeah, his best year is definitely 97. Pro Bowler, I believe, as a rookie, or no, ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie, because that's his negative claim to fame is that Robert Edwards is the reason that this is a trivia question for you. You can feel free to tell your friends. Robert Edwards is the reason the NFL rookie Pro Bowl game does not exist anymore.
Yeah,
because they had that beach game with the like flag football, like the rookies in Hawaii, and dude like screwed up his knee. I think almost had to have it like amputated or something.
man,
Like it was like a huge deal, but I don't think it did. But it ended his career, and he had like 1,000 yards as a rookie for the Patriots. But yeah, I think is the moment I remember, I think, was that I think he went off on Florida that one time Georgia upset Florida in the 90s with Bobo as quarterback. But yeah, 900 yards, 12 touchdowns his senior year. But yeah, Robert Edwards in a support staff role, like you said, been a head coach, high school head coach since 2009. Played with Kirby Smart, just another former dog on that sideline, and there seems to be no shortage of them. Whether it's Kevin Butler coming back, I think he was like a grad assistant or something, right? Getting like a degree or something. He was like technically, I don't know. And then Jarvis Jones helping out there for a few years. It's just there's no shortage of former Bulldogs that seem to want to be part of Kirby Smart's staff.
Yeah, that's another. I didn't realize that's another one of or consider that's another one of Kirby's old teammates joining the staff. Man, I mean, coaching is a fraternity. That's what they always say. It's all about who you know, the connections that you got, and Robert Edwards is still. I mean, I know that he's not somebody who gets mentioned in the same breath of like Herschel Walker or Garrison Hurst or Nick Chubb, but he was a really, really good running back at Georgia, and so it's exciting to have a guy like that back in the building.
For sure. We were doing our draft of the Kirby Smart era running backs. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's another topic to visit, is the pre-Kirby Smart era. Because I do wonder where Robert Edwards ranks among Georgia running backs. Like, I don't know. It's just such a loaded running back school that I don't know that he's top 10, but he could be. He could be around 10-ish. But yeah, just he is part of the running back lineage, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a deserved part of that room. Who knows how many RBU alums will join the staff down the line?
Yeah, who knows, man? Maybe get Todd Gurley in there. Still, obviously his football career is over. Maybe Gurley can get in on that Georgia staff.
Yeah, come on, man.
Sonny Michel, he's also retired already, right?
Running backs don't last long, man.
That's true. Those are some especially short careers too. And then the last one that Georgia just recently added to the staff, Jalen Harris. And where is he from? Kennesaw, I believe.
Well, yes, but he was on Georgia's staff already. I believe he was like an assistant for player development. I think he joined a couple of years ago, and then they promoted him recently because they've had a couple people leave for other roles. You know, like Robert Edwards is getting hired to replace a support staffer who left for, I want to say Colorado or like
Colorado State, I
Colorado
believe.
State. Okay, yeah,
David Hill, I think was the name.
Yeah, David Hill. So I believe Jalen Harris is also being promoted to fill some vacancy because I know Muschamp is gone too. But either way, yes, he's a former Auburn tight end. I think he coached at Kennesaw, and now he's I think this is the biggest job that he's gotten so far.
So yeah, finished his playing career at Colorado. So I guess if he's can he rep Colorado as his school instead of Auburn, and then we'll allow him in? Is that
Sure.
If he was on his sports card I don't know if people are still doing those, but if he's on his trading card, it'd have Colorado, so we won't hold all this time at Auburn against him. But yeah, Jalen Harris, another addition to the staff. So yeah, like you said though, he was currently serves as the assistant director of player development. So nice little promotion for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a big time. I mean, I who knows what the assistant director of player development's day-to-day duties entail, but I imagine it's not as much real hands-on football stuff as this one probably will be. And if you're a football guy, that's what you live for. That's probably what fulfills you more than anything in coaching, among other things. I'm sure people have all kinds of reasons for coaching, but to me, it always seems like those guys want to be around the game as much as they can because that's what they love to do. So shout out to Jalen Harris.
Do you know how old this guy is?
I mean, he was playing at Auburn fairly recently, so I would have to imagine he's probably in his 30s.
Yeah, he looks like a pretty young guy. Spent a little time in the NFL, Packers, Falcons,
yeah. So he played at Auburn. He played at Auburn from until 2018.
Okay.
So he is in all likelihood, early 30s now.
And then was a receiver, tight end coach at UAB.
He's probably not even in his 30s yet. But yeah, young guy.
Yeah, that's probably not, right? What's the math on that? Close to 30.
21, 22 in 2018, so.
Yeah.
It's like,
but yeah, that's the additions to the Georgia coaching staff. So Larry Knight, obviously the big one, the outside linebacker coach, because that's the role Georgia really needed to fill. But the rest of these, just more good minds in that Georgia coaching room.
Yeah, we will be able. The only one of these I think we'll really be able to see what the tangible effects of are right away is the Larry Knight hire. I mean, that's like the outside linebacker, edge rushers, that position was under a microscope throughout last year for a reason. So, and it will continue to be this year now, especially that there's a new hire at that position coach. So, it was already going to be one of the more interesting things to watch for Georgia in 2026 is how that pass rush looks. But now that there has been a shuffle at that outside linebacker coach, it adds even more reason to be intrigued. So we will see how that goes. Hopefully it's not last in the SEC in sacks again.
Let's hope not, sir. Was Georgia last in the SEC in sacks this year?
They were for a while. They got a bunch towards like the end of the season, and like they had like 8 in 4 games or something like that, 9 in 4 games, and I think that might have put them above a few people, but I don't even know, man. They might have actually just been last. Let me see. I've got the stats pulled up right here. I just found them. Yeah, they had 20 sacks, which is the all by itself least in the SEC.
Wow.
So can't have that again.
You can't have that.
And they did all this. Kirby did all this stuff during the regular season where he's like, well, fans only look at sacks to judge pass rush, and that's not what it's about. And like, yeah, that's true. But I think they were always kind of minimizing how much of a problem the pass rush really was. I don't expect them to go out there and like complain to the media about it or anything, but they did seem to be kind of stubborn to acknowledge that they weren't really prepared there.
Yeah, I think that's It did feel defensive at times. It's like all those other things they do just to
Yeah,
get in you can affect the quarterback. And it's like,
exactly.
yeah, but really affects them when you sack them.
Yeah, and
It's
they
like
weren't even getting that much pressure anyway. There were games where they played pretty well there, but it's not like they were ever like making life hell for anybody, really. Go back, look
for
at that first.
sure
Well, the second Alabama game was definitely the best defensive performance they had. But look at the first one, man.
the
That was rough.
Texas game too. I mean, that's one of the
Mhm.
better offenses they
Yeah.
played. But yeah, I think you just look at like the Ole Miss game or something like if you're able to sack Trinidad Chambliss on some of those times where he's running around making play, it's just like, yeah, you affected Trinidad Chambliss a lot and he still made plays. So it's like you got to bring the quarterback down. Like just the what second and 16, second and 17 does to a drive,
Oh, yeah,
like
totally.
it just totally changes things. So not to mention a third down sack that just ends a drive. So yeah, they just gotta they have to affect the quarterback more than they did a year ago. And like you said, I think at the start of what you were saying, like I think the Damon Wilson thing really did just kind of blindside Georgia. So it's like I don't see Georgia being as unprepared going into a season at the pass rush position as they were in 2025. Like just most seasons, that's probably not going to happen. Your best pass rusher resigns in December and then transfers a month later. So
Yeah.
or maybe it will happen all the time. I don't know. Who knows these
Yeah.
days. But yeah, I think that is like a factor when you're just talking about like the future of Georgia and everything like that is a factor, and call it an excuse if you want, but I think with just the continuity, they should be better. And obviously they brought in uh some transfers as well. So I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, I think so too. I just last year we went into the season and I think it was really concerning that like there just wasn't much. They got Madozi, but to me, Madozi always felt like a last ditch band aid type of thing. They really didn't have much, man. They went into that season with it was going to be Damon Wilson, and he left. He backdoored us, and now we have these guys who have barely played. And this year, it just seems like there's way more reason to believe like okay, they might actually like it's not going to take a miracle or just an unexpected breakout way out of left field for this to be a good pass rush. Last year, that was kind of all we had to cling on to was like, well, maybe Quintavious Johnson will have an insane year or whatever. And like he didn't, and the pass rush wasn't very good.
He did have a good year though,
He
and
was
I
a
think
good player,
I'm
yeah.
excited for him in
Oh yeah,
2026.
I think so too. I just more meant like for Georgia
Double
to
digit
have the
sack.
same pass rush or similar they had in 2024, it was gonna have to consist of one of those guys, Gabe Harris, like turning into a Michael Williams level factor right away, and that was obviously not what anyone was really banking on. And if you were, I'm sorry because it didn't play out that way.
Yeah, it was definitely relying on someone to play better than they had in their career prior to 2025. And I think, I guess Gabe Harris and Quintavious Johnson definitely both had the best year of their careers. Obviously, Quintavious Johnson is only year, but still that bar's not
Gabe Gabe
not
Harris
that
was
high.
yeah, and Gabe Harris was really to give him credit. He was pretty awesome before he got hurt. That is one of the
Yeah,
more
that was
I think the the Drew Bobo injury I think gets more publicized now as like the injury that changed everything for Georgia and it did suck, but I think that one gets under mentioned a little bit when you talk about injuries that kind of derail the season because he was playing really well and then he went out and Ole Miss game was kind of a disaster without him.
yeah. I mean, one more pass rusher like against Trinidad Chambliss. I think that's a huge thing Georgia needed in that game. And I mean Gabe Harris against the run as well.
Yeah,
Um,
better against the run.
yeah, exactly. And what's his name had the best game of any that
Yeah,
I
Lacey,
guess
yeah, because
worst game. Lacey had
Lacey
yeah,
didn't do anything in the first game, and then he gashed him in the second game.
that was the biggest individual rushing performance Georgia gave up the entire season.
Yeah,
So what can you do? So a couple factors of why Georgia didn't end up where they wanted, I think, in 2025 that are correctable in 2026.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if one of the best two pass rushers gets hurt and misses the first round of the playoffs again, it's like, yeah, it could have the same impact. Who knows?
Good.
Hopefully, it just doesn't go that way.
But also this year, hopefully, they're a better coached team and there's more depth there with Williams. And then you've got Isaiah Gibson, Darren Kinnabon, and Chase Linton going into their second years. So this year, it, you never want to have to just bank on perfect health in football. Like, you never want to be like, if our one guy goes down, we're screwed. Because then if you're screwed, you're screwed. But hopefully Georgia this year will have enough depth to where if one of those guys does go down again, they're not as shorthanded there. And
Yeah,
the
that's a good
backups
call.
are good enough to play, you know.
There's some very highly ranked recruits in this front seven that are in their second and third and maybe in
Yeah.
fourth years on campus. Like, it feels like there should be
Mhm.
some impact players in
Yeah.
2026.
I think there will be, man. I'm excited about that trio of sophomores. I think at least one of them is going to crack the rotation at some point. Kinda
That
I'm hoping it'll be Chase Lynn because he went to my high school, but all 3 of those guys, they seem to really like. They've all got the physical traits you want. Just another year in the system could do wonders for them.
for sure, especially a guy like Chase Linton, who is very lean coming out of high
Oh, yeah.
school. Like, put some weight on him, and he seems like the guy that could be that pass rush specialist. Like, how do you pronounce it? Is it a Kingabon?
I've always heard it a Kennebon.
A
A Kennebon.
Kinnabon?
I try not to, like,
Um,
overpronounce it. I try to just, like, embrace my whiteness and just kinda say it and get through it, you know, without
and
butchering it
then
too
who's
much.
the other?
Isaiah Gibson,
Oh,
who
Isaiah Gibson.
he
Yeah,
was the highest rated recruit of all 3 of them, I believe, at least on some sites.
and the true freshman that actually made an impact as a pass rusher
Yeah,
was
Walker.
the inside linebacker. Why am I blanking his name?
Zayden
Zykevious
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Zayden Walker. Zykevious is his brother,
Yeah,
right?
and he'll be back, and he looks like he's gonna be a really good player too, so there's a lot more names to get excited about this time around, I think, legitimately.
For
Really,
sure. Oh,
the
Zayden
best
Walker,
player could be the
man.
Auburn transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot more to be excited about next year. I think like you just said. You just said it. I agree. Um, Speaking of the playoff, have you heard these rumors of a 24 team playoff?
Oh,
Big
well, yeah.
10 internal documents from the Big 10 are throwing out a 24 team playoff. What do you think, sir? You a fan of it? You may tell you some of the details first.
Sure.
Let me tell you some of the details. So, first two rounds would be on campus. It would be a 23+1 model, and I almost lost my mind if the one was like Notre Dame, like they're gonna get or
The
something.
one
But
is always
the
Notre
one is G5. So I guess they're like, if they're not in
Dame.
the top
One
24.
group of 5 schools
Well,
of
I guess it's just
24?
saying, like, if they're not in the top
Yeah,
24,
yeah,
like, you're just gonna guarantee one of them get in there. So yeah,
yeah,
whatever, that's fine. And then it would like want to get rid of conference championships.
of course they would.
So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts there?
I got an internal document too. I actually have been working on this for a long time. I think that we should expand the playoff to 128 teams, and I think
Okay.
we should eliminate the regular season and start in July. Week 0, July 31st is when the season starts, and then every week is just a new round. And then it goes until December. I think we should just make the whole thing a big tournament. That way, everyone makes the playoff. There's no
How
committee.
many how many rounds is that? So
I don't know.
NCAA tournament is 6 games, right? You got to win
Yes.
6.
See, I've been working on it
So it
for
would
so
be
long,
7.
I
It'd be
forgot to
7
even think about how many rounds there were.
because that's
But
just
yeah,
one
I
extra round, right? 64 to
yeah.
128. So
No,
there you go.
seriously, like, yeah, I know.
7-game season.
Yeah, man. I'm obviously doing a bit here, but like the the playoff expansion is just it sucks. My thoughts on it are that it sucks. I hate it. Shouldn't be more than 4 teams, but they're gonna keep expanding it because they want more TV money. So We signed college football over to TV money, late stage capitalists who just want to continue growth, infinite growth every single year. It has to be more, it has to be bigger, it has to be better, it has to be more profitable. So,
Increase shareholder value.
yeah, pretty soon everything is just going to be a playoff game. If we let it keep going like in this direction, man.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Because it's like, yeah, you throw on 24 teams like in the first week of December. Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm a college football fan, but it's like this isn't helping decide the champion. It's just you're just devaluing the best regular season in American sports. Like, I mean, I would like to say that a 2014 playoff, oh, well, now teams won't be afraid to schedule non-conference games. Like, now they can just play each other, not worry about losing 3 or 4 games. Or they could not and just guarantee they make the playoff every single year because Missouri schedules nobody. They're gonna go 8-4 or something and make the playoff. Like, sure. What like Tennessee was ranked to like the last week of the season, right? They lost to like the 6 or wait, how many games they lose? 5? The 5 teams with winning records that they played, I believe. So yeah, this is a terrible idea. I think neither of us were a fan of this. I just wanted to see what your opinion was.
Yeah, I mean, if you expand it that much, then it's just gonna make it to the point where an average college football regular season game is no more important than like an MLB regular season game or an NBA or
Yeah, the
NHL
NBA.
game because the thing that used to make college football special was that the playoffs were kind of baked into the regular season. You know, like if a 1 versus 2 game happened in November of the regular season in week 11 or whatever, that kind of was a playoff game. And we lost that when we went to 12 teams, and this would just be even further losing it. And so, yeah, it would just dilute the sport. It would make the thing that made it special, it would just completely take that away, and I wouldn't like it. I mean, it would make the regular season even more irrelevant than it is now. It would make it just a waste of everybody's time. I mean, we would just be waiting for the playoff to start.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Because that's what the NBA is. It's before they had this play-in tournament. I mean, it was 16 of the 30 teams get in the playoffs. And now how many teams make the play-in? Is it 4 from each side? Or like 2 from each
yeah,
side?
yeah,
I don't know how many. So like 20 teams are in the playoff essentially. It just and then the NBA regular season is like by far the worst regular season
well,
of any
I
of the
base
American
base
sports.
baseball. Baseball's got 162 games.
But
People
baseball, it's like it needs to be like every day though, because it's like a big sample size of baseball. It's like I don't know, you got these historic numbers. It's like I don't know, through 162
that just
games.
sounds like you just like baseball more.
It's because I
See,
think
I like basketball more, so I like to watch basketball more than baseball.
I know what you're saying, but I think the baseball regular season feels like it's worthwhile because there's teams that can be hot for 3 months and then over 6 months, I don't know, you just kind of the cream rises to the top kind of thing. Like the NBA season doesn't, it's just too long. It's too many basketball games. Like I've said this for years. The season should be 58 games. Everyone should just play everyone twice. Like, and then I don't know, probably 8 teams make the playoffs or something. Like that would do so much for the NBA. They'll never do it because it's revenue, whatever, tickets and all that stuff. But it just, I think baseball also values the total numbers throughout the season. Like, he hit 50 home runs, he hit 60 home runs. Like basketball doesn't even do that. They don't have these really milestones. It's about whatever you do per game is really more basketball stats. So
Yeah.
you still have that. And I don't know, players don't play like they had to literally make a rule that you can't miss a certain number of games and still be all NBA, like because the season doesn't matter. That's why the Spurs started load management so they could be healthy for the playoffs and all that. So I don't know. It's just that's basketball, I feel like is the playoffs are great in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, because that's when the players are trying their hardest. That's just what you're going to do to college football if you, if you allow, because there's 130 teams playing college football, but there's 60 of them playing big time college football. And of the 60, there's like 30 good programs, it's like, so like 90% of the good programs make the playoffs every year. It's like, I don't know. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, it really is. That's a fair point about the basketball thing. I just kind of lump it in with MLB and NHL, honestly. I just think that for a long time there was when the NFL is still kind of like this, but for a long time there was just kind of like the football regular seasons were like a completely different level from any other sport just because football is so rare. You can only play
Yeah.
it once a week for the shortest amount of season of any of the other sports. But yeah, 2014 playoff they've already thrown that away with the 12 team, and the 2014 playoff would just be a complete insult to fans, I think, but they'll probably end up doing it at some point. I mean, they probably will. They just it is what it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, if they're not really making the decisions based on what like fans and stuff wants. They're
Yeah, they
they're
don't.
they're making the decisions on who can make the most money, and it's like if this is going to make more money, then they'll probably end up doing it. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate because of how great the college football regular season. It's like getting rid of some of the regionality and giving us more national is like the opposite of what all college football fans want. It's like, hey, we're gonna have 24 teams in the playoff now, but Georgia and Tennessee aren't gonna play every year. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing with this sport? Let's get this back on track. But we haven't done this yet, so let's not go doomsday on the folks here.
Yeah,
We're still at 12 for the time being, but that's where we are, sir.
indeed. Yep.
Speaking of the big dance, though, sir, college basketball. Georgia Bulldogs in action tonight with the Kentucky Wildcats. Dogs not trending in the right direction right now, sir. But the most recent bracketology that just came out, they are a 10 seed and they are in the last 4 buys. So that's not even the last 4 in. So they got a little cushion there. But Jeremiah Wilkinson, I don't know. I don't know how long he's out for exactly. I don't know. They're trending in the wrong direction, and if they don't get him back, I don't. It's hard to have too much confidence for this team down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean they've got a great offense. I know that they're like top 10 in the country in scoring, but the defense has just been very bad all year. And in college basketball, if you don't defend anybody, your days as a serious team are very numbered. Um, Surreal can really only do so much for the interior defense. He's not going to provide much on the perimeter, and that's where they always seem to be getting burned. And so I don't know, man. I mean, I think they're good enough to hang with most teams, but when it gets to be late in games and they just need to get a stop, they've just really struggled to do it. And like you said, things are not trending in the right direction as far as the tournament. But if they can get a big win tonight, that'll be what, a quad one win or whatever they call it. I don't know all that stuff. I've never been a big like what's the website, Klinkos or whatever, college, all that Ken Palm stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I've never been tapped into all that for sure, but I do know that pretty much every SEC game from here on out, every game, I guess, is just pivotal for this Georgia team. They don't have a lot of margin for error, so big one tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe it's on the road too at Kentucky. So, I don't know how many times Georgia's won in Lexington in recent history, but I would venture not many.
No, probably not. Rupp Arena's tough, man.
It is indeed. And that'll lead us to our final segment of the night, sir. Going on the road. It's a nice little segue there.
Yeah.
Georgia's going on the road 4 times in conference play next year, sir. And let's rank these games from most difficult,
Good.
easiest to most difficult. I don't
Okay.
know. What am I trying to say? Let's put it on the screen here. These are Georgia's road games for next year, sir. September 19th at Arkansas, October 10th at Alabama, November 7th at Ole Miss, and then November 21st at South Carolina, Williams-Brice, in November.
Ooh. Yeah,
So
that could
what's
get
the first? I get
that's the latest they've played South Carolina in a while. It's got to be because they used to always play them early in the season.
Yeah, there was a few years that it's been a November game. Like I think 2017. I know because I just happened to be at that game. It was like November 1st or something. It was like November 3rd. It was like the first week of November. But yeah, this used to always be like the first conference game of the
Yeah,
year for the
yeah,
longest time.
for sure.
I think 1980, uh, Herschel versus George Rogers actually may have been like a November game. I
Mm,
think it was like two Heisman candidates down the stretch type thing.
yeah, that would track. Yeah, it's good
That
to see.
somehow George Rogers came on the winning end of that. Who I'm not sure what the people were looking at there. 1980.
Because Herschel Walker was a freshman, but
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, it's good to see South Carolina back on the schedule. I missed that game for a couple of years, so yeah. Do we want to rank them? Um, I guess I think last on the list, just in terms of where it is on the schedule and who it's against and the mystique of the rivalry and everything. I think Arkansas is a pretty easy last. I mean, they didn't win any SEC games last year. They have not been a top flight SEC program in a while. Even the last time they were considered a serious team, they came to Athens and got spanked. So I'm gonna have to put that one in last. No disrespect to
There's
Hogs.
there's a there's a caveat here though, because if you're gonna get one of the worst teams in the SEC on the road, getting them early in the season when they still have some hope, that might not be the best time. They might be 2 and
Oh yeah,
0, scored 50 points against North Texas or something, and they're feeling good about themselves.
very good point.
But yeah,
Very good point.
that's still the easiest of the four, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, and then I mean, third, I guess I would have to put South Carolina as well. They're just not on the same level, I think, as Alabama or Ole Miss were. I mean, those are two returning playoff teams. South Carolina is going to have Sellers back, which will be cool, and hopefully they'll be a better team next year. But they just don't. I don't think they have the same level of expectations as the other two teams on this list do. But again, like I said, it'll be fun to see the Gamecocks again going into Williams-Brice in November. I mean, if South Carolina's having a good year at that point in the season, and they end up being ranked or something like that, and that's a hyped up game, it could get really interesting. That could be a good one.
See, that's a big if though, because I look at South Carolina as, I mean, I think there were some coaches in the hot seat going into last year, but I don't think we thought everyone was going to get fired.
Yeah,
Like none of them saved their job. So it's like Florida fired their coach, Auburn fired their coach, LSU fired their coach, Arkansas fired their coach. Like the fact that almost everyone in the SEC, Kentucky fired their coach. Almost everyone in the SEC is either satisfied with a coach or just hired him last year. That all of a sudden that makes Shane Beamer even like more on the hot seat, because like now South Carolina could be one of the most attractive SEC jobs open. Whereas if they opened up in 2025, they're like the fifth or sixth most attractive job. So I wonder if a November matchup with South Carolina is like lame duck Shane Beamer, and it's kind of just a sleeper of a game down the stretch.
yeah. Who? You want me to say number two? I'm number two is tough for me.
Yeah, this is really what it comes down to.
Um, I'm gonna put Ole Miss at two. I know that that's the team that Georgia lost to in the college football playoff, and I understand that, and I really do think that there's a very cool budding rivalry kind of building between those schools. It hasn't really existed before throughout history, but I've got this one at 2 just because I don't wanna talk about Alabama too much when I'm supposed to be talking about Ole Miss, but I just think Georgia versus Alabama is always this this crazy, like, event, like, in college football, it's one of those games that every casual viewer turns on, everyone circles on their calendar, and so I think that game is always is gonna be number 1 just kinda by default, and also just because I expect both Georgia and Alabama to be very good next year at that point in the year. Ole Miss, I mean, they just got Trinidad Chambliss back, that's a huge win for them, they're still they look like they're gonna be really good again. But there just is the variable there of it being Golding's, first full season, and you don't really know how he's gonna handle that for the first time and everything. So they could be looking differently or perceived differently by the time it gets to November. But I think October 10th, Georgia's got a road game at Alabama. I mean that's just gonna be a big one. So that's my answer for the top 4.
Yeah, and Georgia didn't lose a road game in 2025, so 2024, those were the 2 teams that they lost to. It
Mhm.
was Alabama and Ole Miss, both on the road. So, yeah, it's hard to rank them. Obviously, Ole Miss, you could just make the argument outright that Ole Miss was better than Alabama in 2025. They never played each other, but Ole Miss only lost to Georgia, and then they got further in the playoff, obviously. So, but if Ole Miss had to play Indiana a couple rounds earlier, they may have gotten blasted too. Who knows? Indiana was just blasting everybody apparently. But yeah, I think I have to ultimately agree with you just because of what the Alabama game means to Kirby Smart, and like I think that SEC championship went a long way in getting the monkey off his back. Just because it's one thing to win, it's another thing to just absolutely blast somebody.
Yeah.
But you got to go back to Stafford to Mikey Henderson in 2007, the last time Georgia beat Alabama on the road. I guess Ole Miss. Has Kirby lost to Ole Miss every time he's played on the road? I know that year
I think
one.
I don't think I think yeah, he's only played there on the road twice, I think, in his first and then 2024, and they got killed both times. And I guess the Sugar Bowl
Yeah.
was not a home game.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. So Kirby's played Ole Miss 3 times, not in Athens, and lost all 3 times. That's pretty that might make this number 1 right there. I don't know. But yeah, that, and with Trinidad Chambliss back, yeah, I guess now that I'm talking all the way through it, Ole Miss is number 1 for me because
Okay.
I think Trinidad Chambliss, like I said, he should be a first round pick. I don't know why he's trying to come back to college. I'm not sure why he's getting eligibility. It appears he's getting eligibility as of today. I'm not really sure if that's still like up in the air. I'm not a lawyer. I know someone granted an injunction or something, or I don't know. Like I said, this isn't
Yeah.
lawyer talk, but if he's eligible, like, and if he plays in 2026, I think he's probably the best quarterback in college football. So,
Mhm.
you go on the road to play the best quarterback in college football. It is not going to be an easy task. So yeah, maybe say Ole Miss is my number 1 toughest road game in 2026.
Yeah, they could really go either way, man. And obviously, we're talking about these in February of 2025 or 2026. So we've got no idea what these teams are going to be looking like even after the springtime is over. But there's a good chance they could both be top 5 showdowns, and everyone if that Ole Miss game is especially, it might be the most hyped up game of the regular season just because there's that they played 2 great games last year and split them. Ole Miss won the one that mattered, and now it's gonna be played at Ole Miss's place. So yeah, I can already see the storylines, man. It should be a fun season and a dramatic one.
Yeah, it's huge. And just for context, Arkansas is after opening up with 2 cupcakes, so that's like your first big game of the season, first legitimate game of the season, and then you got that's basically 4 straight weeks: Arkansas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and then at Alabama. So, and then they'll play Auburn the week after Alabama, the bye week, and then Ole Miss will be the week after the Florida game. So, yeah, this is what a 9-game SEC schedule looks like. There's not as many breaks in it. But yeah, who knows what Vanderbilt's going to be this year, and yeah, it should be a fun season. We'll talk about the home games one of these weeks, which one we're looking most forward to. But yeah, and a side note about these road games, it is an absolute travesty that Georgia's not playing at Texas A&M in 2025. This is just
it's crazy that it just will never happen. Like I know it's on the schedule for next year, but I don't even know if it is. They might take it off.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what I know they've announced it. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I mean, because I remember we thought it was funny when they announced like the new SEC schedules, and it wasn't there the first year.
Yeah,
like because we were more like, why is this not like priority number one? Like, it's insane how they've been in the SEC for like 15 years now, and first of all, they've only played each other one time ever, and they never have played at Kyle Field. Like it's a very funny.
It was the Joe Cox year, the Independence Bowl, I believe.
Oh well, that's
is that the one time they've ever played
SEC play though?
No, it wasn't. It was in the Big 12.
That was pre-Johnny football. Like that, they weren't A&M.
No, that's true.
The wannabe powerhouse that they are now, you know.
And yeah, and I think the worst part about this, the year after, they play at Texas and at Texas A&M the same year. Like that's just, I don't know. That just doesn't logistically make sense to me. But also play at Florida State that year, and at Auburn and at Georgia Tech. So 2027, some real tough road games. But
you're gonna be gauntlet.
That's 2027. We're talking 2026 right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Speaking of someone of the fired head coach, who knows? 2027 could be the first year of the next Florida State head coach. That could be the first game of his tenure or something. But we'll see. Hopefully they keep it closer than 60 points next time.
That would be good for them.
We're not thinking about 2027 right now. I've already spoken too much.
That game's probably going to get unscheduled anyway. It's too hard.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows these days?
Well, you don't want to go out there like Bama and lose to Florida State.
That's true. The last thing we'll say here for the folks who are sticking around with us, make sure you check out FanDuel, man. Right now, speaking of 2026, do you know who's the current favorite to win the national championship with betting odds?
But you can if you want. Favorite. Sorry, who I didn't even mean to interrupt. I just.
Who would you say is the favorite right now to win the national championship? Plus 650.
And football?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's probably the number one program in all the land, the Texas Longhorns.
They are actually tied with two other teams for second.
What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Someone call the Athletic.
The defending national champions in Ohio State are all in Texas are all three tied for second. Tie? So who do you think is who do you think's in first? The current favorite. I was shocked by this when I saw it, to be honest. No disrespect out there.
Is it like, wait a minute. Is it like Oregon?
Oregon's actually next. They're plus 850. So that would be what? Fourth?
Is it a Big Ten school?
That won't help you, sir.
No,
it is not a Big Ten school.
Okay, it's not a Big Ten school.
It's not an SEC school. It's not an ACC school.
Oh,
it's not a Big 12 school. It's Notre Dame.
Wait, they probably got an agreement. You have to be the favorite.
They have to be the preseason favorite.
You want to be
but yeah, plus 650. Little surprised to see them ahead of Ohio State.
Yeah, I should have figured.
And then, like you said, Indiana's tied with them, and then Oregon fifth, and then the Georgia Bulldogs. A little gap there. Oregon at fifth at plus 850, and then Georgia at plus 1,000. So 10-1 odds. I think that's a good time to.
They must think Georgia's going to go 7-5. I actually have heard a lot of people say that.
That's true. That is a thing people are saying. Georgia's going 7-5 in 2026. But I will say I'm not the biggest gambler by any means. But the last time I placed a futures bet on the Georgia Bulldogs to win the national championship, it is when they were a 10-1 shot in 2021, and
it's
I
slammed.
want a few $100 on that one. So it was good stuff. But
Right.
yeah, so check out FanDuel, place your college football odds. Personally, I think it's a bad time to pick Notre Dame. Maybe if they're 4th or 5th, yeah, take your shot on the Irish, but they do not seem like the favorite type of money. I think Georgia at 10-1. I'm putting that one down.
Yeah, I guess the Irish PR machine is just working overtime now. After they got snubbed from the playoff, they gotta really make sure that they're hyped up this year, so the committee has their preseason ranking in mind when it comes to.
Yeah, there it is. It's a 365-day effort to get in the college football playoff. But yeah, also Alabama plus 2,700 down at like 12th or something in the odds. That's wild to see Alabama down there.
I guess
right below LSU and Ole Miss.
We don't know who their quarterback is going to be next year, do we? Is it? I guess Mac is the favorite, but they also have that kid
Russell, the true freshman from last year.
Recruit. So I guess the thinking there is that it's just going to be a kind of a retooling year for the Alabama Crimson Tide, but I don't know, man. It's big bad Bama. We over here at the Georgia show have the utmost respect for what the Tide are capable of.
Absolutely. But yeah, Alabama plus 2,700. I do not like nearly as much as Ole Miss and Oklahoma at plus 3,000. I think those would both be much better long shot bets.
I wonder if that was, when those odds were made, I wonder if that was after Trinidad got his big day in court, because
that's a good question.
Got to move those odds quite a bit
if people know he's playing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It seems like he's going to play. I mean, he won his thing. I mean, he's been in court.
Is it final?
I guess nothing's final in the legal world, and the NCAA can appeal it. But if they appeal it, they're just going to lose, because they always just lose.
I mean, that Alabama player played a game or two, right? And then the SEC ruled.
The NCAA, I don't know. Yeah, that's the first win I've seen. That's what get in years, is when they were like, okay, the guy that played in the G League cannot just come back to play for Alabama.
We don't care what university the judge went to.
Yeah. If there's usually any gray area, the NCAA loses, because they deserve to lose.
That's fair. So we'll see. We're a long way away from the 2026 national champion, but if you want to partake on some futures bets, check out FanDuel, and you can do it there, man.
Yeah.
Also, we were saying Oklahoma, like John Mateer, keep in mind he was pretty good before he broke his hand.
Before he got hurt. Yeah.
What are you saying?
Oh, sorry, I was saying he was nice before he got hurt.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were like downplaying him, or if you were saying he was good. Like he was okay.
Yeah.
But he was pretty damn good. So Oklahoma could take another step. Who knows? They got to come to Athens as well, though. So we'll see.
True. That could be a sneaky good one.
A sneaky good game. That is one of the games I'm most excited for next year, just to see Oklahoma and Georgia playing again. I guess we just remember the Oklahoma game so fondly. I have nothing, no bad words to say about Oklahoma. It was just such a great day. The one other time we played them.
Yeah.
So see Oklahoma, see that montage on the scoreboard of Chubb and Michelle doing their thing, sacking Baker Mayfield. Will be a lot of fun between the hedges. But we'll talk about our home games or something. Maybe we'll do that next week. But until next time, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everyone tuning in. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Hey, y'all. This is Grant Sassery of LSU at the Voice of College Football Network. I'm here today to announce that the Voice of College Football Network now has its official website. It's been uploaded so you can look at all the latest news and content from the